Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10, The Last Generation. The series finale is here. Pop Tot, what did you think of this hour-long bombastic episode?
Wow. It's got a lot. We were thinking about in our last video how you're going to cram the ending into this episode, and they did. There was some quality issues with cramming it in there, but I think it all wrapped up. I really enjoyed the episode.
I am in agreement. I actually texted you right after I watched it, and I basically said it was amazing, heartfelt, messy, bombastic, stupid, fun, and it was just all those. There was times where I was just so like emotional, and then I was laughing, and I'm like, that's stupid.
When you had texted me and said that it was that we had gotten the episode 10 screener, I was like a kid waiting for Christmas. I couldn't wait. I jumped on the edge of my couch. It was right at the end of the last episode, and you basically got the fleet just hitting the space dock. Seven's trying to retake the bridge from the Borg-minded youngins now. Next generation folks in the D. They made this weird stop by to look at the Earth, and then they went back to Jupiter where they found out Jack in the Borg ship was hiding in the eye. Jupiter. And then it just from there, like in a lot of the last episodes, you split off into these different groups doing different things.
I think the good part, at least with this episode, was that every part was interesting. I was really involved and engaged with Seven retaking over the crew, and this development almost of her becoming the captain.
You got this. To your station.
And I think if you're going to pick an MVP of this episode, it'd be Jeri Ryan. I thought she was wonderful. You know, then you had Picard, Riker, and Worf doing almost this suicide mission on the Borg cube or whatever gigantic monstrosity this is. And then the remaining bits of Crusher, Geordi, and Deanna fighting on the Enterprise. It was all engaging. It was just sometimes got a little so bombastic, and it borderlined on, I love this, but this is also kind of goofy. Like, I don't know what I'm watching.
Well, there's some great scene. I mean, like, you've got Picard, Riker, and Worf. They go down to the cube. Picard's going to look for Jack. Worf and Riker are going to look for the location of this beacon so the Enterprise D can destroy it. And so the Enterprise D starts getting shot by this cube, and they fly over and start taking out these cannons, and they take out almost all the cannons at once, and it's Beverly Crusher that does it, and they all turn around like...
Yeah. A lot's happened in the last 20 years.
The music... The way it's filmed and shot it's...
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
I heard a lot of complaints that I think were founded, that while this is definitely a much higher budget, it definitely felt like they were reusing a lot of stuff, and I felt like they put everything financial wise into this episode. And that shot, as well as the D redoing the Millennium Falcon run, it was just like there's a lot of money, a lot of CGI artists working on that. And same with the Titan flying through, shooting all the ships, shooting at the space station.
The set design for the Queen space was outstanding. And again, we talk about how Terry seems to like do little shout outs to science fiction, maybe some of his favorites. This had aliens written all over it in some aspects. You had like you said, the Star Wars Millennium Falcon Return of the Jedi run towards the middle of the ship. Data flying the Enterprise D like it was an F1 racer. It was crazy.
Yeah, that part was, he did the whole...
My gut tells me I should do this.
Your gut?
Yes.
You've got to be sure, Data.
Please, everyone, just trust me.
This season, more so than any of the other previous seasons of Picard, and specifically the TNG movies, managed to give every one of our heroes a moment to shine. People were upset Deanna didn't have much to do. Well, she ends up being the one to locate and save the three that went on the suicide mission.
I know it's evil.
Beverly was pivotal in attacking the Borg ship.
Yeah, so there's this touching moment. Picard hooks into the hive mind to save Jack. they have this like inner dream thing where he hugs Jack and says, you know, you're my life now. Jack pulls out of being a Vox. They're doomed because the ship's like blowing up around them.
Yeah.
And Riker says this like last goodbye in his head.
I love you, Zadi. We'll be waiting. Me and our boy.
Deanna can hear him or feel his thoughts, so she was able to direct the ship, and they fly like right over the Queen area, and it was really kind of badass that they were able to do that. But,
I'm glad
it was exciting.
I'm glad they recalled back on the Nemesis thing of her geolocating people and instead made it a much more happier thing than the context of way Nemesis was used.
An unmitigated disaster.
Maybe I missed something, but I don't understand. I don't think this was the Queen from First Contact. Maybe it's like a different Queen. I that part was a little confusing to me because it's like, are the Borg officially dead now?
Right. So if you look in the credits, it wasn't actually Alice Krige that was her body. They used another body. It was Alice Krige doing the voice. And there was all this prosthetics on the person. So you couldn't really tell. I'm guessing this was not the Queen from First Contact. This was maybe part downloaded, but they explained how she was basically eating her young to stay alive somehow, some way. And that explained not having to have a million Borgs rush these three people. I will tell you that during the combat scene between Riker, Worf, and the few Borg that they did encounter, Worf got shot numerous times, and I thought, oh, this is the Next Generation character they're going to kill.
I kind of got that feeling when they were on the Enterprise last time, and Picard turns, and he was like, it's been an honor serving with you guys.
It's been an honor serving with you all.
So I'm like, shit, one of them's going to die.
Yes.
I felt like it was going to be Riker because they kept doing this.
Him and Deanna looking at each other in the eyes. Yeah.
And then when the Borg awoke, I'm like, oh, here it goes. Riker is going to jump in the way. And it ended up turning into a rather badass kind of fight scene where, and I definitely feel like there was an emphasis on making the Borg scary, like what they were with TNG, this intimidating presence and the atmosphere of the Borg ship and all that. And the two Borg drones they fought, it was bare knuckle. It felt like, oh shit, something might happen. Then Worf got shot, and I'm like, oh, you know, this is going to be it for Worf.
As it turns out, Worf had a phaser in his hilt of his sword the entire time, and so that gave Riker an opportunity to do that little jab.
A phaser? You didn't use it?
Swords are fun.
Him picking up the sword was funny too.
Shit! I had no idea it was that heavy.
It was nice little moments of brevity.
Even when they were saved and they showed up on the bridge and Worf sat down in Deanna, what we call the counselor's chair, I thought he was going to buy it, like he was just going to die right there or something. And instead, they do a comical, he started snoring. Let's get to the ending, because there's 4, maybe 5 endings to this.
Very Return of the King-esque.
Right. So we get to the endings, and there's the Borg ship blows up, the Next Generation crew is saved, Borg-esque people return to normal, the fleet's back. Now, the space dock did eat shit. It looked like it seriously ate shit, but they saved the day, and then we span to a few scenes, and then a year later, and they have a new space dock, because apparently they have like a used car lot for space dock somewhere.
I guess so.
And you see now Admiral Crusher, because she's been appointed over Starfleet Medical, and Admiral Picard with Jack, who's in an ensign uniform, and they're going to his first posting. And you're flying up to what looks like the Titan, and they're talking about naming. And for some reason, I had this little brief moment of joy thinking that there was going to be a ship named the USS Picard.
Yeah.
But instead,
names mean almost everything.
And I don't know that I'm disappointed in it, but instead it's the Enterprise G. So now it is official canon that the Enterprise G is the Neo-Constitution that used to be the Titan.
It's the new refit Neo-Constitution class.
So I was a little mixed about that.
Because the Neo-Constitution was kind of built up as not being this flagship. The Enterprise has always been the flagship. It's always been the most advanced, the most state-of-the-art.
That is a Galaxy-class starship. We are no match for them.
The Enterprise E is the most advanced starship in the fleet.
We are an exploratory vessel. If that ship decides to engage us, we are outgunned.
It felt like, we got $3 left in the bank account. Let's just reuse a shot and stick the Enterprise G. And it's fine. I was really, because I'm like, oh, they're going to show the next Enterprise is going to be something sleek and badass. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's fine.
We didn't think it was that big a deal.
Not a big deal.
7 of 9 is now the captain. Rafi is what I'm assuming her number 1. She did call her number 1. Jack is on board. Jack makes this, flamboyant, because I love the character. I love this Jack character.
Set a course for Matalas system, maximum warp, tactical, ready torpedoes and phasers. I don't know what we're walking into here.
And he walks in, he's all flamboyant. And it turned out that Captain 7 is going to make him her special counsel or whatever, and he gets to sit next to her.
I didn't catch it until this episode how much Jack reminds me of a amalgamation of Kirk and Picard.
So you have what is like a shout out to the last scene of All Good Things, and the Next Generation is
5-card stud, nothing wild, and the sky's the limit.
It's just this fun, even now talking about it, I'm getting chills, this fun moment to see all these beloved characters enjoying. You can tell these actors are enjoying their company, and playing cards together. It was just a lot of fun. And then you kind of have the credits and everything. Don't turn it off, because there's a kind of a post Picard credit scene where Jack's unpacking in his stateroom, dark as shit stateroom again, and who shows up?
A chip off the old block.
I really liked that. I don't think anybody's expecting that. I like that basically, the trial never ends, and I always use the famous George Lucas. It's
like poetry, so if they rhyme.
I love John Delancey. He has a great voice, he has a great presence.
It is for him. But I'm here today because of you.
And it was like, ooh, so this scene kind of tells you that there might be a chance for a new season or a new series down the road.
Has just begun.
I was worried that the finale, which, like I said, very Return of the King as there was a gazillion different endings, somehow it felt both satisfying and not. I almost felt like the bow was a little too neat. It was satisfying but rushed. Yeah, and ironically, one of my favorite scenes in the episode, 2 of some of my favorite characters in Trek, which was Tuvok and Seven. And Seven basically says, I'm done, I'm going to resign. And then he says, don't do that, and shows her a video recording of Shaw talking.
The book that she writes is going to be great. And the rules that she breaks, maybe they were broken to begin with.
I broke down. It was Seven's, Jerry Ryan's reaction or acting is beautiful, and Shaw once again broken, kind of narcissistic, nihilistic man actually really did care for and respect her.
She was brave and loyal.
Yeah, I mean, there's and we're really skipping over a lot. There's a lot of last minute, in that last 10 minutes, they talked about how Beverly Crusher, as the new head of Starfleet Medical, figured out how to use the transporters to return all the Borg S people.
Starfleet has implemented a fleet-wide transporter solution to purge our young officers of the Borg infection,
as well as scan the new modified evolved changelings. And it was like really snap real quick.
The explanation we got from the Borg Queen on why they were working with the changelings was kind of rushed too. Goofface, I'm assuming, was the Borg Queen, but we didn't ever really get an explanation on how she was able to hurt Vadic. I was really happy in episode 9 when it didn't just bunch of ships go boom boom, and in this episode it was a bunch of ships going boom boom, and it looks kind of silly when you have like 400 ships shooting. I was like, oh okay.
Now that's a lot of damage.
Overall, what would you rate The Last Generation?
I've got to give it an A. I know it's kind of a mess and it's 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag, but bravo. It's the next generation movie split into a 10 episode series that no one asked for, but we got it and it was great.
Yeah, I'm going to be an A as well. I think this is something we're going to have to talk about in our full review, which please stick around. I'm going to try to get that out maybe next week, so be sure to look out for that, as well as us going over a Star Trek Legacy show. But I don't think in reflection or potential hindsight, this is going to age as well as I would like, but I'm still really happy with what we got. I never thought we would get everybody back together again and sharing those beautiful moments. The Data, trust me, Worf and Riker talking about, this is a good time to die, and Seven's speech, and
I'm asking you to fight for what's below.
Picard giving this loving, affectionate speech to his son.
You are the part of me that I never knew was missing.
It was all super touching, and then to end the poker game once again was great, and it made me feel really emotional.
I think the hollow point in all of this was, as big of grand of a plan this was to finally get the Federation on its knees and do as much damage as they was, the Queen herself was a nothing burger, was nothing.
Yeah.
She was a deer head on the wall.
You had command of an entire armada, and they didn't even attack Earth. Go shoot, have a entire half of the fleet go start bombing the shit out of ships and stuff. Overall, I don't think you watch this for the plotting, and that sounds so shitty to say. It's just enjoying those character moments and seeing everybody together again, and the good guys winning, and everybody smiling and drinking bourbon or whatever the hell they were drinking. But yeah, I'm sad it's over. I think that was something I said out loud, was that even though it's not perfect, and Star Trek has never been perfect, it's even the best of Star Trek has always had some sort of issue. Yeah. I was still upset that it was over. I was like, I don't want it to be over. And I'm hoping in Star Trek Legacy we can see a couple characters sprinkle in every now and then, and they can keep the franchise alive. For next week, we will have a full season review going through all the pros and cons. So make sure you guys let us know what you guys think. I'll include some of your comments in the next video, and we can talk about it and discuss. I'm really curious to hear what everybody thinks. But as usual, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye, Tots.
Thanks, guys.